As we all know, Tyrannosaurus Rex was the king of all dinosaurs, once dominating North America. It was known for its massive body and teeth capable of crushing its prey's bones with ease. Its impressive morphology was the result of a long evolutionary process spanning approximately 100 million years. A fascinating discovery related to this was made in 2016 when paleontologist and dinosaur evolution expert Stephen Brusatte, in his scientific journal, stated that T. rex was an invasive species in North America. The place where it lived was not their birthplace. Instead, T. rex actually came from Asia. In this video, we will explore the true evolutionary process of T. rex, how it grew so large, and the controversial theory that T. rex was an invasive species that colonized North America, making it a nightmare for the ancient animals that lived there. The first T. rex fossil was discovered in the United States in the early 20th century. The impressive appearance of this dinosaur inspired its name, Tyrannosaurus Rex, which means tyrant lizard king. For over a century, scientists have tried to reconstruct the evolutionary process of T. rex. Stephen Brusatte is one of the leading researchers in this field, contributing to the understanding of this species' history and evolution. In their research, they found that the early ancestors of T. rex did not originate in North America but from a very distant place, the Yungar Valley in Xinjiang, China. This valley was once home to various types of dinosaurs. This is where the ancestors of T. rex once lived, as evidenced by the discovery of a new carnivorous dinosaur fossil called Guanlong. This ancient creature lived around 160 million years ago during the Jurassic period. It was nicknamed the crown lizard because of a crown-like structure on its head. Compared to T. rex, Guanlong was nothing. Its body was much smaller, reaching a length of only 3 meters and weighing up to 276 kilograms, a stark contrast to T. rex. Guanlong walked on 2 legs and had longer arms and sharp teeth suitable for hunting. At least 2 Guanlong specimens have been found so far. Both died in the same way and in the same place. They fell into large muddy footprints left by Mamenchosaurus, a sauropod dinosaur. After getting trapped in the mud, one of them was likely trampled by a Mamenchosaurus that came later. The question that arises after the discovery of this T. rex ancestor is how such a small and relatively weak animal could later become the massive T. rex. The key to understanding the mystery of Tyrannosaurus Rex's evolution lies in new fossils discovered around the world. Researchers have found at least 28 species related to T. rex. Stephen Brusatte felt it was his responsibility to unravel this mystery by conducting a detailed analysis of the bones of some of these specimens. His goal was to explain the process behind T. rex's evolution. The approach he used is called phylogenetic analysis, which is useful for determining the evolutionary relationships between species based on morphological or genetic data. Brusatte's analysis confirmed that Guanlong was the most primitive tyrannosaurid species. In 2004, researchers discovered a theropod dinosaur fossil that would connect the next stage of T. rex's evolution, also from Asia. This was Dilong paradoxus, which lived around 130 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. Its fossil was found in Yixian, China, with a body length of about 1.5 meters. Dilong's features showed similarities to the tyrannosaurid group. These similarities included fused bones on the top of its snout. It also had teeth in the premaxillae that were shaped differently, resembling small scrapers. In addition, Dilong's head was relatively large compared to its body, which is a characteristic feature of tyrannosaurid species. Dilong was a small hunter capable of catching prey with its hands and jaws. This prey included various types of lizards, mammals, and other small vertebrates that lived in northeastern China at that time. Specifically, Dilong likely hunted Psittacosaurus, one of the most common early ceratopsian dinosaurs. Interestingly, this predator-prey relationship continued for 65 million years until the emergence of their giant descendants, such as T. rex and Triceratops. The next stage in T. rex's evolution is represented by Eotyrannus, which lived in the forests of Europe at the same time as Dilong in Asia. At about 4.6 meters long, Eotyrannus had long arms and hands, as well as legs that were long enough for its body size. This allowed Eotyrannus to chase smaller dinosaurs. Features like fused nasal bones and scraper teeth were also found in Eotyrannus. However, it is important to note that these early tyrannosaurid species were not dominant predators. They were still considered inferior, like Eotyrannus, which was preyed upon by the spinosaurid species Baryonyx. By the end of the Cretaceous period, approximately 70 million years ago, tyrannosaurid evolution reached its peak with the emergence of large species like Tarbosaurus in Asia. This ancient animal was very similar to T. rex, which appeared a million years later in North America. If there were any differences, they were not very noticeable. One was the number of teeth, where Tarbosaurus had 64 teeth, while T. rex generally had only 55. Tarbosaurus's body size was also slightly smaller than T. rex, with the largest specimen reaching 11 meters in length, while T. rex reached 12 meters. From this information, it is possible that Tarbosaurus was actually the Asian version of T. rex before it evolved into the larger North American version. In fact, a 2016 journal article by Stephen Brusatte stated that T. rex could have been an invasive species that came from Asia and became the apex predator in North America. In 2016, an article in Live Science titled T. rex was likely an invasive species became a public discussion. The article stated that T. rex was not a native animal of North America. Instead, this large ancient animal seemed to be an invasive species from Asia. Stephen Brusatte and Thomas Carr analyzed 28 different tyrannosaurid species to better understand their evolutionary path. They also mapped when and where each type of tyrannosaurid species lived, some of which we have already discussed. This helped to get a clearer picture of the evolution and relationships between species in the tyrannosaurid group. Researchers have suggested that the ancestors of T. rex lived on the supercontinent Pangaea, which began to break apart around 200 million years ago during the Triassic period. This theory proposed by Stephen Brusatte helps to explain why tyrannosaurid fossils are found on various continents, including Asia, Europe, and North America, which became the pinnacle of their evolution. However, around 67 million years ago, the oceans separating Asia and North America began to shrink, creating a land bridge between the two continents. According to Thomas Carr, this is what allowed T. rex to move to North America via the land bridge that formed at that time. In an interview with Live Science, Stephen Brusatte stated that Tarbosaurus was the Asian version of T. rex and vice versa. Both were massive predators with similar body proportions and strong jaw muscles that allowed them to bite with great force. In addition, small details in their skull structure also showed many similarities. So, why did Brusatte use the word invasive for T. rex? In this context, the word invasive refers to a species that moves from its original habitat to a new one and then dominates or displaces the local species in that environment. Field evidence seems to support this theory with the discovery that before T. rex appeared or moved to North America, there were other tyrannosaurid species living in the region. However, after the arrival of T. rex, these older tyrannosaurid species became extinct. Although the reason for their extinction is not entirely clear, researchers believe that T. rex may have played a role in the process. Even so, the 2016 article generated both pros and cons. Those who agreed with the theory discussed the possibility of T. Rex spreading to North America through an event similar to how early humans crossed the Bering Strait to reach America. On the other hand, the choice of the word invasive felt inappropriate to some. The term invasive species is usually used for species introduced to a new area with human intervention, causing a negative impact on the ecosystem. For example, the case of the arapaima fish, which originally lived in the rivers of the Amazon basin but has now been introduced to various other countries, including in Southeast Asia, like Indonesia. Stephen Brusatte, in closing his interview, emphasized the importance of building evolutionary trees, especially for fossil groups like dinosaurs. Through these evolutionary trees, we can trace the evolutionary history of species and provide a clearer understanding of how life has changed and developed over time. For more fascinating insights into the world of ancient life, be sure to subscribe to our channel and explore our other videos. You'll find a wealth of information on everything from dinosaur discoveries to the latest paleontological research. Join our community of paleontology enthusiasts and never miss a new video.